Hello and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. TCS beats muted estimates in Q3 with a dollar revenue growth of 1%. Margins also expand sequentially ahead of estimates. Headcount declines for the second straight quarter. Infosys largely meets estimates in Q3 even as dollar revenue declines by over 1% and margins contract, tightens the full-year growth outlook to 1.5%. Headcount declines for the fourth straight quarter. TCS reports a 23% decline in large deal wins, even as the company management remains upbeat in the medium to the long term. Infosys deal wins more than half, but largely in line with estimates. Infosys management says there's no change in client budgets and behavior. Sensex and the Nifty end a range-bound session with marginal gains. Reliance Industries hits a record high once again. Mid-caps outperform the blue chips. U.S. market regulator approves the creation of the Bitcoin exchange-traded funds. The move allows American investors to buy and sell Bitcoin-like stocks and mutual funds. RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das says India does not need to emulate others, warns that emerging economies cannot afford cryptomania. RBI Governor says the numbers on unsecured personal loans is, and I quote, not alarming, remains within reasonable limits. Also adds the restrictions were imposed preemptively. The RBI does not wait for the house to catch fire. Income Tax Department alleges that Polycab has indulged in unaccounted cash sales worth 1,000 crores to evade taxes. Indicates that searches in December revealed discrepancies in transactions of the company's distributors. Polycab shares down 22%, the biggest single-day loss. The government may slow down its disinvestment drive, consider a more modest disinvestment aim of 25 to 30,000 crore rupees for the upcoming fiscal. The government has achieved only 20% of its FY24 target so far. Ahead of the budget, Mobile Phone Makers Association flags concerns over export growth, bats for a reduction in tariffs for imported components. Nodal Minister Ashwini Vaishnav remains non-committal when asked about a potential duty cut. The International Court of Justice starts hearing South Africa's genocide case against Israel over the war in Gaza. Israel has called the lawsuit baseless and is acting in self-defense. The countdown to Davos 2024 begins. A World Economic Forum report highlights misinformation and disinformation as the biggest risk to the world in 2024 as over 50 nations head to elections. Union Minister Smriti Irani says India has become a trusted partner and a global hub for technology. Also on the show, the latest in gadgets and gizmos from the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. We bring you a smart shoe that helps you walk more efficiently. Well, let's walk over to the market board now. The Sensex and the Nifty ended a range-bound session marginally in the green. It was a choppy day of trade, but mid-caps did manage to outperform the blue chips once again. Shares of Reliance Industries hitting a record high and the biggest contributor to the gains that we saw today. So the Sensex flat close just about in positive territory. Similar story playing out for the Nifty. The mid-cap index up by about 0.5% or so. Reliance Industries putting on about 2.5% today. That was the story for the markets. But the big story this evening, earnings season is here. TCS and Infosys have kicked things off with a largely steady performance in what is a seasonally weak quarter. Let's start with TCS. It beat muted estimates with a 1% revenue growth. Infosys has seen its revenue and margins decline sequentially, but the numbers were not as bad as the street was fearing. Rima standing by with the Q3 report card of TCS and Infosys. Rima, sum up the numbers for us. What does it tell us about the outlook for tech?
The IT earnings season has kicked off on a not such a bad note. Not as bad as what the street was fearing. TCS, in fact, is a beat on both revenues and margins. And Infi, muted quarter, weak, but not as bad as what the street was fearing. So TCS has reported a constant currency revenue growth of 1% versus estimates of a flat growth or no growth, while Infi has reported a revenue decline of 1%, but the street thought the revenue decline would be a lot more, maybe 1.5%, going up to 2%. margins for the two companies have come in pretty okay. For TCS, it's a margin expansion of 70 basis points to 25%. While for Infosys, there is a margin contraction of 70 basis points, but that's on account of a wage hike. Both companies have reported a decline in their deal wins on a quarter-on-quarter basis, but Q2 was a record quarter of sorts for deal wins for the companies. So Q3 deal wins are lower quarter-on-quarter, but it's largely in line with the company average. The attrition for both companies have ticked lower. For TCS, 13.3%, for Infy, 12.9%. Headcount is moderated again for both the employees, for TCS as well as for Infosys. For Infosys, it's the fourth consecutive quarter of a headcount moderation. TCS's growth appears to be boosted by BSNL. But other than that, if you strip that out, you look at the core market of BFSI, North America, that continues to remain under pressure for TCS, and it's a similar picture painted by Infosys too.
We've been winning very good deals in BFSI as well, and we have a very good pipeline. So we are confident medium to long term growth will return there. There is no major change as discretionary, not discretionary, but the project focus tends to be more on cost optimization. All the projects that we won recently, all of them we've been continuing to execute mostly as per plan, and so there is no rethink on what we signed in recent past as well.
As we get closer to the end of the financial year, we've tightened the margin, the revenue growth guidance. The margin guidance remains the same. We see the outlook in essence quite similar, but the guidance is tightened. That's how we're seeing it, based on what we've seen in the first 3 quarters. On the budgets, I think that was one of the questions on what we're seeing with the budgets. At this stage, we've not seen any different behavior from clients.
Well, that's TCS and Infosys kicking off earnings season. Let's now move to stock-specific action. Polycab stock registered its largest single-day fall, down 22%, amidst allegations of tax evasion by the Income Tax Department. Now, Polycab has been under the scanner for the last few days. Sources say the IT department alleges unaccounted sales worth 1,000 crore rupees. The company's promoters have gradually reduced their shareholding over the last few quarters. As of September last year, promoter holding stood at 65.9%. Polycab lost over 50,000 crore rupees of market cap in today's session. Now, this is higher than its revenue in the whole of FY23, so Polycab under pressure there. Hero Moto up 5% today on plans to showcase a range of products on the 23rd of January. Sources say the auto major may also display a prototype that will be launched in the next 2 financial years. Hero is also expected to unveil its 440cc motorcycle Maverick at the event. Now, the U.S. market regulator has approved the creation of Bitcoin exchange-traded funds, or ETFs. The move will allow American investors to buy and sell Bitcoin like stocks and mutual funds. However, the SEC, while approving 11 applications, has maintained that it has not approved or endorsed Bitcoin. Back in India, RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das has said that there is no need to emulate others when asked about the U.S. approval for Bitcoin ETFs. Speaking at an event organized by Mint, the governor said the world and emerging markets in particular cannot afford, and I quote, cryptomania. Ritu standing by with the key highlights of the governor's statements on Bitcoin ETFs and the crackdown on unsecured personal loans. Ritu, sum up for us what the RBI governor had to say.
Well, the RBI governor reacting to the U.S. capital market regulator approving Bitcoin ETFs, saying that RBI's stance on cryptocurrencies remains unchanged, reiterating the warning against its potential for financial instability. Now, Shaktikanta Das said India need not emulate others on cryptocurrency regulations and asserted that what is good for another market need not be good for us. Now, comparing what he called the cryptomania to Netherlands' infamous tulip mania, Shaktikanta Das said that traveling down this path could create huge risks, especially for emerging markets like India. He added as another warning that while the speculative nature of the product enables some people to make big money for some time, the majority people will only encounter losses. On another note of unsecured personal loans, where the RBI recently raised risk weights, the governor, perhaps for the very first time, has offered this kind of insight into what caused the worry in the first place. The good news is that these numbers, he said, on the loans are not particularly alarming and are within reasonable limits, even when it comes to NPAs. But he explained that there were a couple of reasons why RBI acted. Firstly, he noticed that there was an exuberance build-up and a FOMO kind of an approach when it comes to unsecured personal lending among some banks and NBFCs, and said that some of them did not have the kind of bandwidth that is required to do the due diligence to justify the fast loan growth in the unsecured personal retail loans. And so it was clear to RBI that this kind of growth is not going to be sustainable going forward, and therefore it needed to be moderated. Thus, Shaktikanta Das said RBI has acted preemptively in this case, because the approach is that RBI does not wait for the house to catch fire and then act. It acts to ensure that there is no fire in the first place.
Thanks very much, Ritu. Comments there coming in from the RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das. Now, job cuts continue across big tech companies. Google's parent company Alphabet said it's laying off hundreds of employees across multiple teams. This after the company announced plans to cut 12,000 jobs globally in January last year. According to a Reuters report, the company plans to reduce its workforce at its voice assistant unit, hardware team and the augmented reality division. Employees impacted by the move are responsible for products like Pixel Nest and Fitbit. Firing spree across Amazon has continued into the new year, with more than 27,000 employees laid off since December of 2022. The company is planning to downsize its employee count across its Prime Video and MGM divisions, laying off hundreds of employees. Now, as per reports, the company sent an internal note to its employees saying that these job cuts will help Amazon prioritize investments for long-term success of its business. The move also comes a day after the company's live streaming unit, Twitch, announced that it will be laying off more than 500 employees. Now, less than 3 weeks to go for the interim budget. We learned from sources that the government is looking to slow down its divestment drive and consider a more modest target for the next fiscal. Sapna joins us now with the details. We've seen this happen year after year, Sapna. The disinvestment target scaled down, not being met. What's the story this year?
Well, there are a few very clear challenges as far as the government's disinvestment targets are concerned. Probably the way the targets are set, if you look at the process of privatization itself, it's pretty long, drawn out and arduous. Transactions take anywhere between 12 to 18 odd months to conclude. Plus, the government's shareholding in a lot of blue chip CPSEs has been coming down very steadily. Close to around 5 lakh odd crores worth of disinvestment has been done since 2014, and a lot of the low-hanging fruits are actually already gone. Plus, there is also no fresh pipeline as far as the privatization program is concerned. Of course, it's the election season, and government may be acting only post that. But all of these put together is creating an issue regarding the divestment aim. Of course, this year 51,000 crores, barely 11,000 crores has been met so far. So there are challenges, and those challenges are very visible. Probably something more like 25,000 crores to 30,000 crores will be more feasible. That way the government will have the legroom to actually exceed that target rather than undershooting them year on year. So maybe some reassessment is required in terms of the changed disinvestment dynamics and the targets which are being set. Of course, we'll have to keep a watch as to what the number finally comes out at. But, this is what appears to be the thinking at the moment in North Block.
All right, many thanks, Sapna, for joining us. And speaking of the budget, Mobile Phone Makers Association has flagged concerns over export growth. The association has urged for a reduction in tariff for imported components. However, speaking to CNBC TV 18 on the sidelines of the Vibrant Gujarat Summit, Telecom Minister Ashwini Vaishnav remained non-committal when asked if there was a potential duty cut being considered.
Vietnam has FTAs with almost the entire world. So they are getting zero duty inputs for everything. And their export in electronics is now $120 billion. They are a massive exporter because they have created a very easy import system, zero tariffs, and a very, very good system of governance and ease of doing business. This is what we are trying to replicate. Our single request is that this nuisance tariff, which is the others, which are at 15%, at least that should be rationalized to 10%, because it creates interpretation issues.
Well, that's the demand there from the Electronic Component Association. Mahindra & Mahindra launched the Pro variants for its electric vehicle XUV400. The XUV400 EC Pro priced at 15.4 lakh rupees and the XUV400 EL Pro priced at 16.4 lakh rupees. Both variants include a redesigned dashboard and some new features. Deliveries will start from the 1st of February. Luxury auto major BMW has posted a 19% year-on-year rise in sales for 2023. This is its highest annual sales in India. The company plans much more. While speaking to CNBC TV 18, BMW India's president Vikram Pava said BMW intends to continue the momentum into the new year with 19 new launches. The countdown for Davos 2024 has begun. The World Economic Forum has released a report on potential global risks in the coming years. With over 50 nations heading to polls, the report has highlighted AI-driven misinformation as the top threat in 2024. The report also underscores extreme weather events, critical changes to Earth systems and ecosystem collapse as the top 3 threats in the next 10 years. The group's managing director, Sadia Zahidi, has said India has no shortage of economic opportunities, but has a shortage of skills. She also added that India has the potential to be a leader in AI.
There are technology-related risks, there is mis and disinformation-related risks, there's concerns about illicit activity, but there are concerns that are more in the realm of will there be shortages of skills and not that will there be a shortage of economic opportunities to be able to grow. So I think India's in a very different situation. And one of the specific areas we point out is that India really has an opportunity when it comes to disrupting the concentration that is happening around the latest developments in technology and has both the skills and the technological capabilities to actually become an AI-related powerhouse itself.
Well, that is the MD of the World Economic Forum. And staying with Davos, the Indian contingent is ready for the World Economic Forum's annual summit. Union Minister Smriti Irani says India has become a trusted partner and a global hub for technology. India Inc. says the theme for Davos will be from incredible India to credible India. Take a look.
Davos this year signals that this will be a conversation centered around technology. And again, as an Indian, I'm extremely proud that we have become one of the global hubs, not only for servicing technology, not only for innovation, but now many companies look at us as the future of technology and human capacity in collaboration with technology. So I think that will be the buzzword.
From a back office to a front office, and I think that's what B20, G20 has helped us really put us up into that position. Davos will help us in consolidating that, and the Institute and the Center of Excellence that you are talking about is to see how a global center can be based in India, where the rest of the world participates through India to contribute to the world in areas, be it sustainability, to green, to even learning as to how do we finance growth appropriately.
Theme for us for this year is to move from incredible India to the credible India, where we are going to be part of, I would call it, the trusted network of the world and trusted partners in every way which we can, including what the Honourable Minister mentioned.
And remember, stay tuned to CNBC TV 18. Starting Sunday, we will bring you all the action live and exclusive right here on CNBC TV 18 on Davos 2024. Hindi film superstar Shah Rukh Khan, who staged an epic comeback in 2023 with 3 consecutive box office successes, is the CNN News 18 Indian of the Year. He was at his wittiest and philosophical best at the award ceremony last evening. In a rare address, Khan said he was not just the Indian of the Year, but the Indian for all ages.
At a personal level, a little bit of bothersome and unpleasant things also happened, to say the least, which made me learn a lesson that be quiet, be very quiet, and work hard with dignity, and still know it in your heart. When you think that everything is good, suddenly out of nowhere, wham, life may come and hit you and topple your apple cart. But this is the time where you need to be the hopeful, happy, honest storyteller and continue doing whatever you're doing, and kind of think this is an aberration, this is a nasty plot twist. It is not the story that you're living, and 100% is not the story's end. Because somebody somewhere told me that life में फिल्मों की तरह अंत में सब ठीक हो जाता है, और अगर ठीक ना हो तो अंत नहीं है. Picture abhi baki hai mere dost. I don't just feel like the Indian of the Year. I feel I have been the Indian of all the years gone by. And I will be the Indian for all the years to come. I am actually, ladies and gentlemen, the Indian for all ages.
You talked about bigger, better, fast, superior South movies. Mr. Mani Ratnam is here, and the last time you two worked was, what, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? Are you going to make a pitch for another movie? When is he going to direct you again? You can ask him. Use the forum of CNN News 18 Indian of the Year.
Mani sir, what now? It's all come out in the open now. I'm requesting you, I'm begging you, I'm telling you every time do a film with me. I swear this time I'll dance on top of a plane, chaiya chaiya, if you tell me. What is the train?
Can somebody pass Mani sir a mic, please?
And good evening, Swasni. I had told you that time, tell him before sleeping, Shah Rukh, Shah Rukh, Shah Rukh.
Mani sir, when are you going to cast Shah Rukh Khan?
When I buy a plane.
Oh, you buy a plane.
If I buy a plane,
I'll do it.
Mani, let me just tell you the way my films are going. This plane is not far away, huh?
I'll bring it down to earth, don't worry.
I'm coming on an...
Well, it's day 2 of Vibrant Gujarat Summit, and the Gift City took centre stage with a slew of investment announcements. Yash and Jude standing by to wrap up the action.
From big-ticket investments in the manufacturing sector, Vibrant Gujarat saw a marked shift towards global finance and IT. The Gift City. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman spoke about how Gift City has become a gateway to global financial institutions. NSE CEO Ashish Kumar Chauhan spoke about how Gift City could well do a Hong Kong for India's fintech ecosystem. NVIDIA, in partnership with Yota, is all set to establish its AI data center in India's very own global finance city.
Currently, in the IFSC, we have 3 exchanges, including International Bullion Exchange. There are 25 banks operating within the IFSC, of which 9 are foreign banks. IFSC also has attracted 26 aircraft lessors who have collectively leased out 136 assets. There are 80 fund managers who have established 89 schemes and 29 insurance entities, including 8 insurance and reinsurance firms. 8 ship leasing entities have commenced operations here.
I think $85 billion of bonds have already been listed. So that is also on track. I would say next 10 years probably we should do $1 trillion of bonds, at least, probably more. And hope is that what Hong Kong did for China over the last 40 years for growth of China, Gift City will do for India.
Big investors in India. We've always been big investors in India. There's no reason to stop investing in India.
Day 2 at Vibrant Gujarat saw the focus shift to electric mobility, ports and trade. In an exclusive chat with CNBC TV 18, Ather's co-founder and CEO Tarun Mehta said he expects the EV sector to grow tenfold in just half a decade. Meanwhile, Union Minister for Shipping, Ports and Waterways Sarbananda Sonowal confirmed that MOUs worth $2.5 billion have been inked at the summit. And in keeping with trade, there's some good news for that long-awaited India-UK free trade agreement.
Our current market of about 8-9 lakh units electric two-wheelers should grow to about 1.2 crores in the next 5 to 6 years. This has never happened in automotive or any manufacturing sector, that like almost 10x growth in like 5-6 years. So I think there's going to be a race to establish new capacity over the next 5 years. We are going to be looking at our next plant very soon.
Port shipping waterways, like we have gotten like today MOU, and which is like the investment of like rupees more than $2.5 billion.
Well, I think both. There's a real urgency from Prime Minister Narendra Modi as well as Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to really get this done. So if anyone needed impetus, it's coming from the top. So I think that provides a horizon. And as I said, it's always good to have certain things to look at. There's an election coming up in India, in the UK, and it's good to get these things done before.
And that pretty much sums up day 2 at Vibrant Gujarat. Investments in fintech and IT with a whole lot of progress in electric mobility, ports and trade.
But there might be more on offer, with sustainability and MSMEs being the key themes for the final day. With Jude Sanit in Gandhinagar, this is Yash Jain.
Well, the action from Vibrant Gujarat. Here's the latest in gadgets and gizmos from the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas. Shivani Garrett brings you a smart shoe that helps you walk more efficiently. Take a look.
If you are a sneakerhead like I am, then this shoe will definitely have you excited. With me is Karim Omniya, who's the founder of Balliston, which makes smart shoes, and these shoes give you real-time gait analysis. Karim, tell us more. How do they work?
Okay, this is a shoe that has a chip inside that is able to analyze the gait in real time, and it gives you information about how you need to improve your walk to reduce back pain, to improve blood circulation, to reduce fatigue. And on the top of that, once you get the shoe, after a few weeks, you will receive a pair of insole that is adapted to the way you walk. Your left leg and right leg are different.
Fabulous. How much does this cost?
$150 for the shoe, but
yes.
You have another business model, a subscription for $250 per year, but this will give you shoes forever. It means you can replace the shoe for free because the technology detects the wear and tear. So when the shoe needs to be replaced, we will take it back from you, and we will send you.
That's the subscription model.
Yeah, and we send you a shoe for free.
Well, it's a smart shoe out there if you're looking for one. With that, it's time for us to wrap up this edition of India Business Hour. From all of us here, thanks very much for watching. Do stay tuned. The news continues on CNBC TV 18.